Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter atoms and molecules. In this session, we are going to discuss about symbols of chemical elements, how the symbols are given for elements, how to write the symbols of the elements. So these concepts we are going to learn from this session. Before that, let us see why do we name elements? What is the purpose of giving fixed names for the elements? Do you know what gold is called in your language? If your language is Telugu, it is called Bangaram, isn't it? And if it is Hindi, it is called Swarna. If it is Tamil, it is called Tangam. In this way, in other languages, it would have a different name. In each language, this is having different names. Not only this element actually, each and every element will be having certain name in different languages. There are so many languages in the world that is not possible to know the different names of each element in different languages, isn't it? If we know the name of an element in particular one language, the name might be different in other language. So remembrance of the name of an element in different languages will be difficult to us. So to help scientists communicate without confusion, we must have one name for each element that is accepted by everyone. So for every element, there should be a name which is convenient, which avoids confusion, and it is accepted by everyone. In such a way, name should be given for every element. Sometimes elements are named based on their property. Yes, some elements are based upon their properties. For example, the Latin word for water is hydro. Earlier, it was thought that so the element that combined with oxygen to give water was named hydrogen. So scientists have thought the element which is combining with oxygen giving water. So it is called as hydrogen. Hydro means water in Latin. So hydrogen means water former or water generator. That is the meaning of word hydrogen. They, they assumed that this element on combination with oxygen producing water. So they have given this name hydrogen for it. Hydrogen means water former or water generator. In that way, based upon that property of formation of water, the name hydrogen is given for that element. Let us see one more example. At one time, people believed that any substance that reacts with oxygen would be acidic in nature. Yes, in the earlier days, before finding the exact properties of oxygen, they believed that any substance on reaction with oxygen forms some acidic substances. Which is reacting with oxygen will be having certain acidic properties. So based upon the belief, the Latin word for acid is oxy. Oxy means acid. So based upon this belief, the gas was called as oxygen, which means gas that forms acid. Oxy means acid, oxygen means oxygen acid generator or acid former. In that way, oxygen name is given for the element. So earlier they thought that the substances on reaction with oxygen they are forming acids. That is why for this element oxygen name is given. Oxy means here acid. Oxygen means acid generator or acid former. Of course, it was later discovered that the acidic property was not related to oxygen for the acids. However, by then the name had come into common use, so it was not changed. For actually, the oxygen name is given based upon the uh, assumption that this element is responsible for the acidic property of substances. But later they have discovered there is no relation for the acidic nature of the substances for the oxygen. But anyhow, that name was became popular, so it is being continued. It is being used now. It is not changed. In this way, for certain elements, names are given based upon their properties. Okay. For some elements, the place of discovery of element can also play a role in its naming. For some elements, names are given based upon the place where they were found or where they were discovered. For example, the gas which was first discovered in sun was named helium because the name of sun in Greek is helio. So the gas found in helio is named as helium. That is a gas present in helio. Some other elements like having names based on the place of discovery are polonium, californium, etc. Isn't it? Some elements based upon their place where they were discovered, names are given like polonium, californium, helium, americium, indium. In this way, for certain elements, names are given based upon the place where they were discovered. Okay. For some elements, sometimes elements were named to honor the scientists who discovered those. Yes, for some elements, names of scientists are given to honor them who discovered those elements. For example, Einsteinium, fermium, rutherfordium, borium, mendelevium, the curium. These are the elements which are given names based upon the name of the scientist who discovered those to honor them. Okay, in this way, some elements are given based upon the scientist name who discovered those, and some elements are given names based upon the place where they were discovered, and for some elements, names are given based upon their properties, and some more elements are given based upon the planets' names. For example, plutonium, mercury. These elements are given names based upon the certain planets' names. Okay, in this way, certain element based upon certain categorization, the names for the elements are given. So after giving the names, scientists thought that instead of writing complete names of the elements in the chemical reactions, why don't we use shortcuts? So for this, they have found solution as symbol. Okay, you must have realized that chemistry involves a lot of reactions, isn't it? So many reactions are occurring in the among the chemical substances. It will be a waste of time to write the full name of the elements and compounds every time to describe a chemical reaction. If you want to describe a chemical reaction, we have to write the complete names of those chemical substances completely. So it will be actually a waste of time to say in terms of scientists. For example, if you say the chemical reaction decomposition of calcium carbonate, what happens there? CaCO3 calcium carbonate decomposes on produces calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. This is a chemical reaction. So this can be simply represented by using some shortcut methods. So to avoid instead of writing calcium carbonate on heating use calcium oxide and carbon dioxide, instead of giving this much of lengthy words, so this becomes a lengthy and time wasting. To avoid this, we use some shortcuts. Using shortcut forms or symbols for the naming the elements is one solution. So instead of writing this lengthy here writings representing the chemical reactions, we use some shortcuts. One of them is writing symbols of the elements. So symbols we use to represent the element in the short form. So symbol can be defined now as the short form representation of an element's name. Okay. Over 118 elements have been discovered so far. Yes, we have our scientists they have discovered till now around 118 elements. There should be an unique symbol for each and every element to recognize them easily without any confusion. For each and every element, there should be an unique symbol by which we can recognize that element without any confusion and easily. Isn't it? For every element, it is to be given a unique symbol. So, in giving these symbols, different scientists they have suggested different methodology. Out of them, very familiar and most convenient, which is being followed even now, is a Bergelius method. John Bergelius suggested that initial letter of an element from its name in English written in capital should be the symbol of that element. So, when the name of an element, if it is written in the English, the starting letter of that name, if it is written in the capitals, that should be taken as its symbol. So the starting letter of an element's name written in the capital letters should be taken as a symbol for the element. This is a suggestion given by Bergelius, Of course, before him, many scientists they have suggested different ways for representing shortcut forms for the elements names. Like Dalton has given some others also they have tried, but they were not continued. They were not accepted for a long time because they're being somewhat confusing and difficult to remember. So Bergelius method is being very simple and convenient to remember and to write the symbols for the newly discovered elements also. Out of them, the points given by him, suggestions given by him is, first one is the first letter of the element's name written in English will be written in capital and taken as symbol for that element. For example, if you write oxygen, the starting letter for oxygen is O. This O is written in capital letters and it is taken as its symbol. So O represents element oxygen and H represents element hydrogen, because for element hydrogen the starting letter in its name is H. So this H is written in capital letters and it is taken as its symbol. So if wherever you see in chemical reactions H, that H represents hydrogen element. If you see O in the chemical reactions, that represents oxygen. Got it? In this way, the simple forms for the elements names are given. These simple forms or shortcut notations for the elements name is called symbol. If the first letter of an element name is already used as symbol for some other element, then the second prominent letter is taken into the symbol along with the first letter. Yes, here. If the first letter of an element is used as symbol for some other element already, if it is also having the same first letter, then along with the first letter, second prominent letter also taken into its symbol. For example, if you see helium, for the helium name, the starting letter is H. So its symbol should be actually H. But this H is already taken as a symbol for hydrogen element. So for this now, along with the first letter H for helium, second prominent letter E also taken into its symbol. Now the symbol of helium becomes He. Got it? For example, symbol of one more example they have given, see here. Symbol of calcium is Ca, because C is already used as symbol for element carbon. For carbon and calcium, for both the starting letter is C only. But the C is initially discovered element carbon is taken as its symbol. Now for calcium, along with the first letter C, second prominent letter A also taken into its symbol. So now the symbol of calcium becomes Ca. In the same way, some other elements also you can say chlorine, Cl, chromium, Cr. In that way, some other elements which are starting with the C, they have taken symbol with two letters, one with starting letter and the second one is second prominent letter. I'm not telling exactly the second letter in the name, second prominent letter. For example, if you see magnesium, starting letter is M, but this M is the starting letter for so many elements. So avoid the confusion, along with the starting letter M, second prominent letter G is taken from its name. So here, not the second letter A, second prominent letter G is taken into its symbol. So prominent letter means while pronouncing after the first letter which we are pronouncing, that is prominent letter. Not exactly second, it may not be exactly second one. Sometimes it may be second letter or third or fourth, whatever it is. For magnesium actually G is third letter. But while pronouncing, we get G as a second prominent letter. So by giving Mg, we can remember easily it as magnesium. That is why they have taken second prominent letter G into its symbol as Mg. Okay. Thus, a symbol can have either one or two letters of English. The first letter of the symbol is always uppercase and the second letter is always lowercase. Yes, if there is only one letter as a symbol for an element, that should be written uppercase letter, or that is capital letter should be written. If there are two letters in the symbol of an element, then first letter should be written uppercase capital letter and the second letter should be written a lowercase small letter. Okay. Now let us see some elements and their possible symbols are given in the table. So observe the symbols given for the elements and check whether they are correct or not also. Say the element aluminium. What is symbol for aluminium? Actually, there is a first letter A. It should be taken as its symbol, and A is one of the. It is a first letter for so many elements. To avoid the confusion, along with the first letter A, second prominent letter from its name is also taken. That is L. Now the symbol of aluminum is AL. But here in J.J. Bergelius, one of the rules proposed is if there are two letters in the symbol, first two letters should be written in the uppercase. Second one should be written lowercase. See here, AL how it is mentioned, both are lowercase letters are taken. So this is a incorrect symbol for aluminium. What will be correct symbol? This is capital A small l. Okay. See next element, carbon. Carbon, its symbol is taken as C. It is given correct only. But if you observe, if there is according to Bergelius rules to be which are proposed to write the symbols, if there is only one letter in the symbol, that should be written in the capital letters. It should be in the uppercase. But if you see the symbol of carbon given here, it is written lowercase carbon. So it is also incorrect symbol. What will be correct symbol for carbon? It is. Next, chromium. Chromium also having the starting letter C, but the C is already given for carbon as symbol. So along with the first letter C, second prominent letter R also taken into its symbol. Now the symbol of chromium becomes Cr. Out of this C and R, C should be uppercase, R should be in the lowercase. Now see here. So they have given CHR. No element is having three letters in its symbol, only two maximum. So capital C, small r is its symbol. Next, chlorine. If we see chlorine, it is also having the starting letter C and along with the first letter, second prominent letter L also taken into symbol. Now the symbol becomes Cl. Okay, but if you observe the symbol given here, both the letters are in the uppercase, which is also an incorrect way of symbol representation. What will be correct symbol for chlorine? Capital C, small l. Okay, next beryllium. For beryllium, starting letter is B, but B is the starting letter of many elements, so that along with the first letter B, second prominent letter E also taken in its symbol. Now, as there are two letters, first letter should be capital letter and second should be small letter. B E is its symbol. So they have given exactly correct one. B is correct symbol for beryllium. So in this way, symbols are given for the elements. So these are mostly accepted by all the people over the world. So these are being followed now. So this is the method suggested by J.J. Bergelius. Some unusual symbols let us see now here. We observe that symbols for some elements come from their names, but for some they don't. Yes, for some elements they are not taken from their English names. Certain elements have symbols based on their Latin names or older names in the other languages. Let us see here some those elements which are having their names, symbols from their Latin names. If you observe here, antimony. Actually, in its starting letter A, along with that either A, N or A2 should be taken as symbol. But its symbol is being SB because its Latin name is stibium. From this Latin name stibium, its symbol is derived as SB. Okay, yes, first letter along with that second prominent letter B is taken into the symbol. Yes, B is a symbol of antimony because its Latin name is stibium. In the same way, observe here some other elements are there. Copper. Copper Latin name is cuprum. From this cuprum, its symbol is derived as Cu. And for gold, the Latin name is aurum. So for this symbol is derived as Au. And for iron, the Latin name is ferrum. So its symbol is being Fe. Lead, plumbum, Pb. As mercury, its Latin name is hydrogeum. So its symbol is Hg. Next, potassium. Its Latin name is kalium. So its symbol is K. Silver. Its Latin name is argentum. So its symbol is Az. Sodium, natrium, Na. Tin, stannum, Sn. Tungsten, wolfram, W. So By this, you might have got the idea why the symbol of sodium is being Na instead of SO or SD. Why? Because sodium, because this is a name frequently we use in general sciences. Sodium chloride, sodium we used to see. So there the sodium, when you write a symbol, we write Na instead of S or SD or SO. Why? Because sodium Latin name is natrium. From that, its symbol is derived as Na. One more familiar element, potassium. Potassium is having its Latin name as kalium. That is why its symbol is being K instead of PT or PO. Got it? They are the elements which are having their symbols from their Latin names. Now, elements with more than one atom in their molecules. We have learned that several elements have more than one atom in their smallest constituent particle, which is called molecule. It means that these elements contain two or more atoms combined together to form a molecule. Yes, for some elements, individual atoms does not exist. These atoms will be combined one or two or three in simple numbers so that they form a group of atoms which are called molecules. So elements always, most of the elements they exist in the molecular state. Individual atom they won't exist. Okay, they for some elements they exist in the molecules. For example, if you see oxygen, hydrogen, and nitrogen are examples of such elements. So in these elements, individual atoms won't exist. Atoms will be in the combined state and hence they form molecules. So oxygen will be available in the nature or in the laboratory in the form of molecules. Okay. For example, a molecule of oxygen has two atoms. Yes, if we say element oxygen, it won't be existing in the form of single atoms of oxygen. Two atoms of oxygen combined and will be forming one molecule of oxygen. So element oxygen contains molecules of oxygen atoms. They won't exist in the individual oxygen atoms. We need a formula to represent now, because if there are single atoms, then we can simply say O, that represents oxygen element. But now we are coming to know that oxygen won't exist in the individual atomic form. Atoms of oxygen, two atoms they combine and form molecules. So oxygen element exists in the form of oxygen molecules. Then it is to be represented with a formula. We need a formula to represent such a molecule in simple way. The formula for oxygen molecule is O2. So because there are two oxygen atoms in one molecule, so the molecular formula for oxygen will be O2. We may get one doubt here. That is, why don't we write it as 2O? Because there are two atoms in one molecule. So if you write 2O, writing a formula in this way, like this, it indicates two separate atoms of oxygen. Of course, it is representing two atoms of oxygen. It does not represent as those two atoms in the combined state. It represents just simply two separate atoms of oxygen. So it is not the correct way of representing molecules. Hence, first write the symbol for the oxygen, that is O, and then write 2 as a subscript after the letter O. At the right side bottom as subscript, we have to represent this number 2. Subscript number indicates number of atoms of oxygen combined to form its molecule. So the molecular formula of oxygen should be written as O2 but not 2O. Okay. We might have heard about ozone gas. Did you hear about ozone gas? Yes. This gas is found in large quantities in the upper layers of the Earth atmosphere. Yes, there are different layers in the atmosphere. The first layer where we are living with the number of gases is a troposphere. Next to this there is a stratosphere. Totally there are 5 layers. Out of them the second one from the Earth is a stratosphere. In this stratosphere this ozone gas is present. This ozone gas protects us by shielding the earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation coming from the sun. It filters the harmful radiation coming from the sun and it allows only harmless radiations to the earth surface. In that way, this ozone gas protecting us from the harmful radiations or rays coming from the sun. Anyhow, here every molecule of this ozone gas has 3 atoms of oxygen. Actually, this ozone gas is also made up of the element oxygen only. But here, 3 atoms of oxygen combine together to form one molecule of ozone. In this way. So, the molecular formula of ozone will be O3. Here, O represents the element in which it is there, the element by which it is formed, and this number represents the number of atoms of that element combined to form one molecule of that substance. O3 represents in each molecule of ozone there are 3 oxygen atoms combined. Understood? Next. Some other elements which are having more than one atom in their molecules. See here, not only ozone, some other elements also they are having more than 2 atoms in their molecules. Let us see those ones. Phosphorus. Phosphorus is also one of the elements which is having more number of atoms. Each phosphorus molecule contains 4 atoms in combination, like this. So the molecular formula of phosphorus will be, it should be phosphorus. Molecular formula of phosphorus will be P4. Now in the same way, one more element, sulfur. Every molecule of sulfur contains 8 atoms of sulfur in combination, like this. So the molecular formula of here also should be sulfur. Molecular formula of sulfur will be S8, because in each molecule of sulfur there are 8 sulfur atoms in combination. So the molecular formula of sulfur should be S8. Here first symbol of the element written, and beside that at the right side subscript position 8 is mentioned. That represents 8 atoms of sulfur are in one molecule of sulfur. Okay. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates and recorded videos. Thank you.